Hey guys, welcome back again to this channel. So in today's tutorial we're going to be learning how to draft your basic bodice. So we're going to be starting and it's going to be beginner friendly. Alright guys, let's get into the video. So I've gone ahead to fold my bottom paper into two and then I folded 2 inches which will be for my zipper inside. So I'll be drafting both for the front and the back pattern with this. So we're going to go ahead now and locate our different parts. So we're going to be starting with our bust point, which is on 10 inch. But before we do that, we're going to draw out our starting point for our shoulder line. So if this is actually depending on you, you can come down by ½ inch or 1 inch. So from this line is where I'm going to start my drafting from. So now, like I said, I'm going to locate my bust point on 10. Then I'm going to also locate my waist on 16. Then I'm going to locate my hip on 23. Then since this is a basic bodice, you can go ahead and add 1 inch seam allowance to this. So this pattern can also be used for a blouse. So now I'm going to go ahead and connect these lines together like this. So guys, after you've gone ahead to connect the lines, now we're going to go ahead and label these lines. So this is our bust line. Sorry guys, there should be bust line, not the chest line. Then the next one is our waist, the hip, and then the hem of this. So now we're going to go ahead now to get our chest line, because the one we have there is our bust line. So I'm going to be marking my shoulder measurement, which is 14 divided by 2. I have 7, so that is my shoulder measurement right there. Then I'm going to be sloping this by ½ an inch. So before we go ahead and draw our shoulder slope, we're going to be marking out our basic neck measurement, which is 3 by 3. So we'll go ahead and do that. Then we use our curve to connect that part together. Sorry guys, the camera was kind of blocky there. So go ahead and arrange your curve like this. Remember, it's just the basic bodice, so you can use 3 by 3 on the neck part. Then connect that part to your shoulder slope. So guys, you have something like this after you're done with that. Not to worry, the camera will get right back in shape in no time. So now, I talked about our chest line, so that's what we're going to be working on now. So our chest line is going to be 8 inch. Now how do we get this? Just go ahead and divide your bust circumference by 6 and then go ahead and add 1.5 inch to this, and then you're going to get your chest line rather. So for mine, after I've done that, I have 8 inches, so I've gone ahead to rule this as my chest line. So now we have a chest line. So you can see I've gone ahead to label that as well. So that's my bust line. So now, like we always do on this part, we're going to be getting half of what we have from our shoulder slope to the chest line. So whatever you have right there, go ahead and divide it into 2. So you can just go ahead to fold your tape over or just mark half of that. So on that point, make a dot on it. So because we're going to have both front and back, and their armholes are actually different, so for this we're drafting for the front, we're going to be coming in by ½ an inch on this side. So after you've done that, go ahead and connect it from your shoulder slope with the first dot you have. Now we're going to use this part to arrange the curve to your chest line. So guys, if you have something like this after you're done with that, this is for our front. Now we're going to also create an armhole for the back. Like I said, we're working on both the front and the back together. So for that of the back, the armhole is still going to be on that same line you created. So just go ahead and blend it out. So guys, that is actually the difference between the front and the back armhole. So now we're going to label this the back, and that is the front. So now we'll continue with our basic measurements. Now this cloth is going to have a dart like we said. So we're going to get the dart of this, we're going to be dividing our bust span, which is 8 inches by 2, then we have 4 inch. So I'm going to go ahead to mark that on the chest line and on the bust point, then also on the hip line. So just go ahead and measure your 4 inch. So this actually depends on the person you are making this bodice for. But for mine, yeah, I have 8 inches and I'm gonna have to divide it by 2, which gave me 4. So I'll just connect the lines downward like this. So guys, after doing this, on your bust line now, you want to go ahead and come down by 1 inch. This is because we don't want the dart sitting directly on the bust line. So you come down by 1 inch here. Then on your hip line, you're going to go ahead and up. Move your tape rule up by 3 inches and you mark that point as well. So this dart is not going to end on the hip line, it's going to come 3 inches above the hip line. Then on your waistline, go ahead and measure ½ inch on both sides. So you have something like this, then you go ahead and arrange this together with a straight line. Remember guys, the dart did not touch the bust line and it is 3 inches above the hip line. So you have something like this when you're done with that. Now we can go ahead and input our basic measurements. Like, so the circumference of the bust I'm working with, you input that measurement as well. So I did have an allowance for that because I did not make use of a dart in that part. So for my waist, I'm going to put in my waist measurement. Then I'm going to take note of what I use for my dart. I'm going to replace it right there. Also on the hip, I'm going to take note of my hip measurement. And I'm not going to be adding allowance since I didn't use any allowance on that part too, because the dart did not get to that part. So now go ahead and blend this out and connect it together with my ruler. So guys, this is what you have after you are done connecting. Now this is actually our measurements without an allowance. So after you've connected this, go ahead and add your allowance to this pattern. And if you don't want, if you are going to still be cutting on the main fabric, you can go ahead and leave it and you add your allowance to your main fabric. But just for the sake of this tutorial, I'll be adding my allowance to the pattern. So I'll go ahead and connect it also. Right, so this is what I have after I was done adding my allowance. So I added 1.5 inch allowance to these lines, as you can see. So this is what I have guys. Now we're going to be working on the neck measurement for the back. So we've already drafted for the front, so we're going to be working on the back measurement, neck measurement. So the depth of the back measurement is going to be 1.5. Then I'm still going to have the same wideness. So I'll just go ahead and arrange this with a curve. So the depth is just what is going to change, which is 1.5. So this is what I have guys. So that is the back neck. Now we're going to go ahead to cut this out, but before we cut it out, keep in mind that we added 2-inch zipper allowance. So this is it right folded out. So we're going to cut this out. Now be careful while you are cutting. You're going to cut the back since it is higher than the other part. So cut using the back measurement first. For the armhole and the neck depth, go ahead and cut with the back first before you work on the front. So guys, you want to take your time here in order not to run the pattern. So as you can see here, I'm not going to be cutting the front armhole as well. I'm going to be cutting the back armhole. This is because the back is the one that is outer, so I'm going to be cutting from that part first. So guys, go ahead and cut on yours as well, and then don't forget to take your time to do this. Now on the zipper part as well, I'm going to go ahead and cut that same thing there, and then connect it to the back neckline. Then connect it to my shoulder. Yeah, this is what I have, guys. So now we're gradually working on both the front and the back. Now go ahead and give this zipper part a nice trim as well, and make sure it is blending with the back. So now, having cut the back, we're going to go ahead now and separate that, which is our back. Then we're going to be using that to trace out the front. So since our back is ready, we're just going to trace out the back from the front panel. So now I have the front here for the neckline, then I'm going to be tracing this again. So I have the front armhole as well. So guys, keep in mind that your pattern should be on fold while you are doing all this, or your clothes should be on fold. So this is what the front pattern looks like, guys. Now we're going to be working on the back. So I'll go ahead. I want to show you guys how they both look together. As you can see, the armholes are different. Then the back has zipper allowance. So I'm going to be using the front to actually trace out my lines in order for me to work on the back. Now I'll set this aside and connect this line. So go ahead and do this as well, guys. Also, I'm going to go ahead to use the marker to roll my zip so that you know that that folded part is the zipper allowance. So I want to draft the part for this as well. So I went ahead to label that. Now I'm going to be drafting the dart for this. So guys, while drafting for your back, please keep in mind that there's a zipper allowance. So while doing this, I did not have the zipper allowance. I did not take note of the zipper allowance. So please don't make the same mistake, guys. So this is why you should actually have your zipper unfold before doing this. So go ahead and connect these lines together. So for that of the back, you can actually extend your dart to the bust point. So go ahead and connect this like this. And you can see that the dart did not get to the hip line as well. So you should have your dart on 4 inch, not on 2 inch like mine. So now we're going to be working on the darts for the front as well. So the front and the back waistline are actually different. So the difference between mine is 1 inch. So if you go ahead and measure your shoulder to the waist on the front and the shoulder to waist at the back, you're going to have them different. So it can be 1 inch, it can be 1.5 inch. That actually depends on you, on the body. So for mine is 1 inch, so I'm going to be using that as a dart for my front. So I came down from the bust line by 1 inch. Then I'm going to be using that to connect with that. So after drawing down 1 inch on both sides, I'm going to be measuring half inches. Then I'm going to connect this as my dart. Alright, so this is what we have after we are done with that. So go ahead and extend it to your allowance as well. So after I was done with that, I'm going to continue now and add the 1 inch I used as my dart on the lower part. So I'm going to ahead to replace that 1 inch. Then I'm going to give it a curve because other side of this do not need that 1 inch except the side where I made the dart. So go ahead and connect this like this here. So guys, remember to replace that 1 inch. So as you can see the way I'm curving it. So go ahead and cut this out. Now this is what we have. So the front piece is actually ready. Now working on the back, we're going to go ahead and measure half inch on the waistline. So this is me just rolling out my zipper allowance. So guys, this is what I was actually saying. You should have your bust pan divided by 2 after the zipper allowance. So what I have there is just 2 inch instead of 4. So while you are drafting yours, please guys go ahead and use 4 inch or whatever your bust pan is from your zipper allowance. So as I said on the waistline, I went ahead to measure my half inch. I'm going to slant it to the shoulder part like this. So this is what you have. Then I'm going to slant it back down again to the hem of this. Also on the other part of the zipper, I'm going to go ahead and measure half again, then slant it up like this. This is actually to eradicate bulkiness from the back, so that when you fix in your zip, you have it sitting perfectly and it will not be a pain to be bulky. So go ahead and connect this as well out like this. So now this is what the back will look like. Then we'll go ahead and connect and cut out this part like that. So take your time doing this. We're just going to go ahead and cut off the excess. Then after we are done with this, we're also going to go ahead and cut out the excess on the other part. So on that other side, so go ahead and cut out the excess you have there. So we're actually doing this because our back is not straight, so you have it kind of curved in. So that is the purpose of this that we are creating in this part. So if this is done, you find your zip sitting properly after you are done. So guys, after you are done with this, go ahead and use a tape, a cello tape, to tape down your pattern together so you have it in one piece. Right, so this is what the back piece looks like as well. Remember to join this together. So as you can see now, it is kind of curved. So this is what we have. So if you find this tutorial helpful, please remember to subscribe to this channel, and then please share and like this video, as I'll be bringing you more videos and more tutorial on easy ways to draft more patterns. Thank you for watching.